Okay, welcome to part 2 of chapter 1 for hardware basics, taking a computer apart and putting it back together. So last week we were talking about the desktop machine. Why can't I change that? This week we're talking about laptops. Okay, so laptops are designed for portability. They can be just as powerful as desktops. However, the technology usually comes out on the desktops before the laptops. You can spend an absolute fortune on laptops. You could, get a decent one for $1,500 or so, but you could spend $9,000 on a laptop. Really, depending on what you're looking for, that might be a bit excessive though. So it uses the same technology, but has modifications for less power, taking up less space. So your technology is smaller. All right, so there's a few different varieties of laptops these days. Quite often you'll find some with touchscreens. I don't have a touchscreen. I don't really want to be putting my fingers all over the screen, but some people really do enjoy that, so they go for a laptop specifically for touchscreen. Some have a rotating screen. Things move around and you can change it into a tablet, and that looks quite nice. Netbooks are a smaller, less expensive version, but obviously they have fewer features. They're not as powerful. And we'll also talk slightly about all-in-one computers. So the case is built into the monitor. So it just looks like a big monitor. All right, so we'll have a look at some ports. Common ones, the SD card, you've got your Ethernet port, VGA, HDMI. You might have a small, like a mini display port. These blue USBs here are USB 3, and black ones are generally USB 2. USB 3 is considerably faster than USB 2. Some things that you're trying to copy to USB 2 could take 2 hours, while USB 3 could be 20 minutes. So when you're choosing a USB, make sure, look, if you're purchasing one and you think it's too cheap, have a good look at it, because highly likely it's a 2.0. And soon I hear we'll be moving to 4.0, which would be great. All right, and then you've got your audio ports and a little part for the cable lock, which we'll look at later. All right, so apart from your USB and things like that, video ports include either VGA or a display port or Thunderbolt. You can use that for display, or HDMI, which is very common. And here's our little picture of our lock. When a laptop is missing a port or slot, you can use a USB dongle to provide that. So you can even use it for RJ45, which is your Ethernet, and you may have seen one of these before. This is a USB to Wi-Fi dongle. If your laptop doesn't have Wi-Fi capabilities, or the Wi-Fi in your laptop has failed, it's died, you could use something like that. I personally have, on my laptop, I have a USB 3 port, but I only have one of them, and the other two are USB 2. Now, I don't want to be using my high-speed USBs in a USB 2 port. I'd rather plug in a keyboard and a mouse. So I've actually got an adapter that allows me to have more ports on there. Yes, it will slow things down a little bit, but it's still going to be faster than USB 2. Okay, so you've probably got some buttons at the top of your motherboard. You know, ones for gaming laptops, you'd have your fan speed to increase your fan speed, or some other little bits and pieces depending on the make. Then also you would have some keys you can use in conjunction with the function key. So if you hold down the function key and you press one of these up the top here that's got a different picture for each of these, you can move your volume up or down, change your brightness on your screen. There's other ones. I think that, I really can't see that, but I think that might be under F1. I think that might actually be disabled the touchpad. I've had many people come to me and say, my touchpad's broken, can you replace it? And first thing I check is, have they disabled it? Have they wiped down the keyboard and hit those two buttons at once and they've suddenly disabled their touchpad? And they're very grateful that it didn't cost them a fortune. I didn't have to open it up, I didn't have to charge them anything, simply because I did that quick check. Same thing with Wi-Fi. If your Wi-Fi is not working, try to check that part. You might be surprised. You may have bumped something. Okay, your keyboard backlight, touchpad on and off. What have we got? Screen brightness, dual displays, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, media options, maybe GPS. Alright, so some laptops have a connector called a docking port. This plugs into a docking station. Docking stations are awesome. You can have everything set up. So I've got a dual screen set up at home. I love my dual screens. If I don't have a docking station, I just have all my leads plugged into my laptop. But if you have a docking station, you can have everything set up, and when you want to move, when you want to get on the go, you can grab your laptop, pick it up and take off, and then when you come back, you can just place it on the docking station, one move, and you've got everything connected the way you like it. It's beautiful. Not all of them look like that, with one over here and one over there. They're quite often, I've seen them, they're all in the one section. All right, a universal docking station. All right, so I have something like this for my USBs, but you could also use one of these docking stations for HDMI, DisplayPort, DVI, your network. There could be, it may need to be powered, or it could be powered from your port, just depending. USB-C is great technology these days. You can get a lot of data through that one USB-C port. So quite often people will connect, will have one of these universal docking stations from USB-C to this and run a whole heap of USBs, DisplayPort, HDMI, all sorts of things if you're missing these things from your laptop. Beautiful. Oh, forgot to fill that one in. All right, so laptops and their replacement parts cost more than desktop PCs. You've got that smaller technology. Factors to consider that apply more to laptop than desktop. Original equipment manufacturer's warranty. Okay, so many laptop brands will give you 1 year warranty. Some laptop brands will give you 2 years warranty. So that could be very useful. Hate to have your laptop for 13 months and something happens that's not your fault and you've just run out of warranty. Service manuals, diagnostic software. Some companies have their own specific stuff. Customized installation of the OS, operating system, and any parts that you may need to buy directly from the manufacturer. They could be expensive. Actually, they're very expensive. I tried to buy a new laptop screen. Somebody said on my laptop, I probably shouldn't have left it on a chair though. So, and they wanted to charge me a king's ransom for the screen when I was able to get it from another place so much cheaper. Alright, so if you want to pull your laptop apart, you might want to consider whether it's under warranty. If you've got a 2-year warranty, you've had your laptop for only a year, and you want to go in there and break the seal, then you've just forfeited a year of warranty. So if you're happy to give that up, and let's say you've got 8 gig of RAM and you want to put another 8 in and have 16 or something like that, and you don't have the patience to wait a year, it's up to you. All right, when you contacting technical support, make sure you have details. It's quite a pain when you're on the other side of the phone and someone says, I've got this black laptop, I've got a Windows 10 laptop. What's your specific laptop model? What's the serial number? Obviously your own details. And then it could be serviced on site. Quite often you may need to ship it to an authorized center, or you could have some phone assistance, or your online chats, your little chat box. They might be able to help you there. You want to do that first before you start posting your laptop off and losing time. Service manuals save time. We've already looked at downloading manuals from the manufacturer's website. In the future, you'll be doing that quite a bit. So it's helpful to get used to doing those sorts of things, and you can check out exactly what you need. Any frequently asked questions pages, simply Googling part numbers if you need to replace a part, and it'll come up on Google search. There's plenty that you can do yourself. Diagnostic tools. Okay, so some companies have their own specific diagnostic tools for their brands. So Sony Vaio has VaioCare, Lenovo, Fujitsu, HP, they have their own individual ones, so you can use their software. You also might have specific gaming software for gaming laptops to get that performance that you want. So that's something to think about. All right, so it may be necessary to open a laptop case to upgrade, change a hard drive. If you've got an older laptop and it's got a physical drive that moves, so a SATA 3 hard drive, and you want to put in that new solid state drive that's a hell of a lot faster, you're going to give brand new life to this machine. It's going to work so much better, and could save you a fortune rather than buying a new laptop if you don't have the dollars there available. So, or any failed components. Motherboardy issues can become very expensive. So if you've gone through a process of elimination of the issues that you have with your laptop, and you find that it must in the end be a motherboard issue, it's so expensive you might as well be buying another laptop, really. I mean, your laptop's just become quite an expensive paperweight in that case. The screws and nuts on a laptop are generally smaller, requiring smaller tools. You should exercise patience when working on a laptop. They are quite fragile, so be careful. You don't want to break off parts and yeah, that could be an issue. And always wear an ESD strap. I've got a picture of one. Here's a black one. We're using blue ones in the lab. There's your little plastic pry tool to be a little bit more careful than using a screwdriver to, after you've taken the screws off the back of the laptop. If you're using a metal screwdriver in a plastic case, you're going to cause dents and you could break something to pry it open. So plastic tools are useful. Work in a methodical manner. So I know I've talked about this before, but it's very important. You don't want to be losing parts. As I said, some people use a little cup or something to put all their parts in. You might actually go to the degree where you're sticky taping the parts to a piece of paper and writing notes, and minus the sticky tape, this is what this person's done. So they're definitely going to get it right when they're putting it back together. Right where a screw belongs, tape screw on paper, keep notes. Yeah, okay. All right, so disassembly tips. Find the hardware service manual. Use the manual. Very important. Okay. Consider the warranty, as I spoke about before. I seem to have jumped ahead a little bit, but look, here's a demonstration of your sticker. There'll be a particular screw that you'll need to get to, and they put that sticker there to make sure that you haven't been playing inside. So you may void the warranty. Take your time and don't force things, and don't shock your chips. All right, so ZIF connectors are zero insertion force. They're light little connectors. You could pop one open with a pair of tweezers. Plastic screws, if you have any in your laptop, might only be able to use them once. They could be quite fragile. Use a plastic or metal spudger, which is one of these. It's a pry tool, but spudger. Okay, interesting word for it, but yep, just to be a little bit more gentle. You'll see, if you've ever watched Jerry Rig Everything on YouTube, he uses a little plastic pry tool to get in there and pull apart mobile phones. Reassembly tips. Okay, obviously reassemble it in the reverse order. Tighten screws, don't over tighten it. Don't use a power drill to tighten up screws. It's not a good idea. Okay, yes, it's faster. Yes, I know, understand it's faster, but you want to be gentle with these things. Delicate technology. Before installing the battery or the AC, make sure there's no loose parts. You know, you pick it up and shake it and it rattles. Oops, loose screw. That might actually, and you might think, oh, it's just loose screw, doesn't matter, but it could sit across connectors on the motherboard and cause a short. So you don't want to have that issue either. Okay, so when you're removing parts, remove or disable the battery pack, remove the hard drive. Yeah, even before that, remove your power supply if you've got it plugged into power supply. Then the battery pack, remove the hard drive, removing memory or a wireless card, optical drives. Quite often you may have to remove the optical drive to pull the laptop apart. You may have to remove the whole cover to get to the hard drive and the memory, or you may actually have little slots on the back of the laptop where there's a specific one for the hard drive or a specific one for your RAM, and it saves you a lot of time when you just want to get to that particular part. So that's quite useful. Removing the keyboard, you could remove the motherboard. CPU, heatsink, fan. Now these are a bit different in laptops. I've got a picture here. Well, this is one from an all-in-one computer, and instead of a massive heatsink that you'll see in the lab, it'll be quite small. There'll actually be a piece of metal over the top of the chip with a bit of copper going along that goes towards a fan, and then that fan blows the hot air outside of the laptop. I'll ask me to show you sometime, and I'll give you a view. I'm sorry I don't have a picture here, but this is all in one. So this is one of these horrible things that you have that's inside a monitor case. They have individual parts. I mean, some of them could be general, but some of them are custom and a bit of a pain to replace and very expensive. But things like your SODIMMs and your hard drives inside should be a standard industry size. Do not touch LCD panel with sharp objects. Don't pick it up or hold it by the lid. I did add that little picture this morning. Okay, very important. So many people I see pick up their laptop by the lid. Don't do that. There's wires inside the hinges, and if you disable those, you won't be able to use your screen. Only use battery packs recommended by the manufacturer. Use the specific one that's needed for it. Don't chuck it in your suitcase. Have a specific laptop bag. That's the reason why we have laptop bags, is because they're specifically to look after your laptop. Laptops are expensive, and if you are buying a cheap laptop, you won't be too pleased. Quite often people say, oh, I'll get one for $500. No, don't do that. You'll be replacing it very, very soon, because it's such a frustrating thing. Anyway, don't put appliances that generate strong magnetic field near your laptop. Always use passwords to protect your laptop, just in case it's stolen. Keep your laptop at a room temperature. Let's say I think I've got more information on that later. Keep away from smoke, water, dust, coffee, beer. Amount of laptops that have ended up with beer in them that I've seen. Unbelievable. Are they salvageable? Yes, they are. It takes a fair bit of work, and I need to clean that motherboard quite a few times. You're probably going to find it pretty hard to get everything out from in the keys. It's going to be that sometimes your keys might stick afterwards, but it is doable. Not so much if you then plug it into a power supply. Okay, so if it doesn't work and then you go to charge it, boom, gone. Same with mobile phones. Amount of people that have spilt drink on their mobile phone and then drunkenly forgotten and went to charge it and blew it sky high. Unbelievable. Do not run it while it's in the case, resting on a pillow or covered by a blanket. Now I know, that looks like a good idea, but it's not good for your laptop. There are vents on the bottom of your laptop that are used to get the heat out. If your chip overheats, it's gone. The whole laptop's gone. Start again. You can have some real issues. So I know you've probably done this before, laid in bed and watched some YouTube and that sort of thing. It's really not good for it. Use a proper tray table or something. If you've left it outside in the cold, had a party, used it for playing music or something, you left it outside and it's a bit chilly, bring it inside, leave it to thaw out a bit first before you start it up. Yeah, general guidelines. We don't want to introduce static to the chips. It can fry them. Remove any CDs or DVDs before traveling with it. And you might think, well, flash drives, USBs, why would I need to remove those? Well, if you knock that, you can end up with part of a USB stuck inside your machine and not being able to get it out. Water or any liquid really doesn't work too well with a laptop. And keep any backups. Quite often when I ask people in classes, how often do you back up? Huh? What? I don't know. Never? 3 years ago? Whoops. It is a good idea. And with backups, I wouldn't be storing a backup on a USB hard drive right next to your laptop or your desktop for that matter. I'd be keeping it in a separate room, maybe off-site, somewhere else, in the garage, at work, wherever. Clean the LCD panel with a soft dry cloth. If you are one of those people that tends to stick your mitts on your fingers on the screen quite a lot, when you need to clean it down, Windex. Okay, use compressed air to clean the keyboard. Get that dust out of there. Dust is not a friend of computers. Blow out any air vents. Remove the keyboard if keys are sticking. You can use a contact cleaner to clean contacts. You can use some special cleaning wipes to wipe down the keyboard. So here's a picture of a canned air. So that's what we use in the lab. And this is actually a rechargeable unit that pumps out air, and I would like to get one of those. I've spoken to someone about it. I'm fingers crossed, hoping for the best. I want to get one. Let's see if my wish comes true. All right, so complete the week 3 practical exercises and complete chapter 1 quiz 2 for this week, and you're good to go. All right, until next time, goodbye.